Before we get started with today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be live for the 2025 NFL Draft that's coming up here less than 2 weeks. You don't want to miss out. Let's get this show started. On today's show, we got a lot to cover here. We're going to get into Lions trade rumors. Jameson Williams is now coming up in trade talks in regards to the NFL Draft. We're going to get into that. The never-ending Trey Hendrickson trade rumors. We're going to talk about the articles that's getting into that, give you my thoughts on it. Mel Kiper mock draft, 3-round mock draft. Who did he have the Detroit Lions picking? I give you those selections, give you my thoughts on it. So let's get into the dumb trade rumor that never ends. It's another one coming up. As in the articles, it's the trade rumor of Trey Hendrickson. In this trade rumor, the Bengals get first-round pick 28, seventh-round pick 228, third-round pick in next year's draft. Lions get Trey Hendrickson, fifth-round pick this year, and a fourth-round pick next year. Up in the articles, everybody hitting me up on social media saying, is this going to happen? You know, is this real? Is it legit? I do not believe it's real, and I do not believe it's legit. I think there's no content out there, and this is being placed for that. Brad Holmes has already spoke about trading for big players, how he's got to save the money for the folks of Kirby Joseph, the Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Aiden Hutchinson. Contracts coming up. He made it very clear that they're trying to be fiscally conservative, at least for their books here. If you get Trey Hendrickson, you're going to have to give him a massive deal. Then you're not going to have the ability potentially to get the guys who we drafted on long-term contracts. And I don't believe Brad Holmes is BSing. I truly believe that's exactly what he's talking about. So smash that like button if you don't want any more Trey Hendrickson rumors, trade rumors. We're getting close to the draft. Potentially it ends there, but smash that like button because I want to see your thoughts on this one. Now, let's get into the Mel Kiper mock draft. This guy gets a lot of grief by fans, but I got to say, I actually like listening to him, and I like to see what his selections are. So let's get in for his pick at 28. Mel Kiper says, we talk a lot about the Lions' pass rush hole opposite of Hutchinson, Kiper explained. Let's fix it. Williams can beat blockers with his explosiveness, and he has even more upside for the new Lions defensive coordinator, Calvin Shepard, to unlock. I love this pick at 28, but I think it's unlikely. Mel Williams, I do 100% believe he will be gone before the pick at 28. But if he was to fall there, that's a Brian Branch type of pick where you just run up and throw the pick in. I mean, I have, if the Lions were to get him, I would have a Lions trading up into, I don't know, the top 12. That's where I think he'll go. I think he'll absolutely be gone before the Lions pick at 28. He's a disruptor for Georgia. He's exactly what the Lions would love to have opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. If he fell there, that's an A++++ draft. It's just the way that it is. And that would be a phenomenal thing to see. Lions get lucky. That would be luck with absolute luck. It would be such a great thing. It would make everybody's day to get a player like him. We are sponsored by Game Time, the best app, the number one app that I choose, and it's the app that I want you guys to get. It has many great features, specialized in last-minute deals and saves up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy shows. It don't matter. They have Game Time picks, making last-minute tickets buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best seats in the stadium. And there's so many events going on right now, whether it's concerts, baseball, Tigers, hockey, NBA. There's a lot going on, and the best part about Game Time is that you can see the prices right there on the ticket up front. All the pricing is right in front of you. There's no hidden fees at checkout. They also have the lowest prices guaranteed. And if you find the exact same ticket cheaper on a different app service or the exact same seat, the same row, same everything, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. Go see the Tigers. Go see the Red Wings. Go see the Pistons. Heck, go see Kendrick Lamar as he's in Detroit this summer. So get started with Game Time today and take out the guesswork of buying tickets with Game Time. If you put in the code CHATSPORTS, you're going to get $20 off your very first purchase. How do you do that? You go to the redeem code section, plug in CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. You got to create an account. You got to have an email to save that money. The link is going to be in the comment section and description of this video. So if you're buying tickets this year, make sure using Game Time. CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets and lowest prices guaranteed. You know, when I look at Mel Kiper's draft, that he hit the need, he hit the nail on the head in regards to getting Mel Williams. It just seems like it'd be difficult for him to fall to that spot. Let's get into his next pick for the Lions at pick 60. Mel Kiper talks about there is an opening at right guard with Detroit, and Mabo could compete with Kayode Eosika and Christian Mahogany to start. He has spent 2 seasons at right tackle, but started at right guard for Purdue in 22. This would be, again, another solid pick, right? We've been talking about the Detroit Lions beefing up the trenches. And remember, when Mel Kiper does these things, he's hearing from his insiders. That's the reason why he does what he does. Yeah, he gets a lot wrong, but let's keep it a buck. To know what every single general manager is going to do, everyone's going to get it wrong. So, but he's right. That's what the Lions look to be targeting, in my opinion. Edge, lineman. Lineman, edge. Where do you want to put it? That's exactly what the Lions have been putting out there. Brad Holmes kind of sticks to his plan, and I believe what he's doing. This would be a solid pick, beefing up the offensive line. Now, I don't think, he said for Kayode Eosika and Christian Mahogany, I think he'd be battling for Graham Glasgow. I think Mahogany is probably going to lock down one of the spots, in my opinion. He's really that good. And if the Lions wanted to have a replacement for Graham Glasgow, if he continues to do bad, you could draft a player and come in here to make an impact. So it's very possible. Let's go to his last pick in round 3 from the Mel Kiper mock draft. So I thought about Central Arkansas edge rusher David Walker, because I really think he's going to be in round 4. But after using a first-round pick of Mel Williams, the Lions opted to touch up the linebacker room with Carter. Kiper wrote he could contribute in a lot of ways. Carter had 77 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 9 pass breakups last season. Grade Mel Kiper's mock draft, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The Lions going linebacker right there. I think that is possible. I'd go wide receiver, but the Lions have brought in a ton of linebackers. And if you look at what the free agency for Lions is after this year, so we're talking about next year, you have Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez. There's going to be a couple free agent linebackers, and I don't know if the Lions will bring him back. So if the Lions wanted to get a linebacker this year, a developmental one, it makes sense. And that's in that view. I have no problem if they wanted to go this route, because the Lions do need to get depth on the defense. The linebacker room right now is really good depth, but after this year, it does get a little bit difficult. Still, I think wide receiver is a real potential for the Detroit Lions in the 3rd round. When I'm looking at it, I think that's the most likely outcome. Now, there has been a lot of rumors going around about Jameson Williams. Let's get into it. Dave Burkett says, in Golden, because Golden was mocked to the Lions at 28, the Lions could find a more cost-controlled deep threat for their offense, one that would help give them financial flexibility to re-sign key players at other positions. That was Dave Burkett. When Dave Burkett speaks, a lot of people listen because he's the Lions beat writer. Talking about a potential of Jameson Williams getting traded from Detroit to another team during this NFL draft, less than 10 days away. Now, Mike Payton from A to Z Sports says this: if the Lions were to take Golden with the 28th pick, they could then trade Williams, save a lot of money, and they could use to make sure that Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, Kirby Joseph, and Hutchinson all get paid their top league extension money they're all expected to get. A lot of rumors going around. The Lions could trade Jameson Williams. One article has what the trade could potentially look like, what the compensation would look like. And here is what one of the trades would look like. It'd actually be to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Lions would be trading, sorry, it's not what the Lions get. The Lions would be getting a first-round pick, number 12, so they're trading up in the draft. The Lions get a third-round pick this year, number 76. Dallas Cowboys get the 28th pick and Jameson Williams. Sorry that this is a little bit off. It should be switched. Cowboys get and Lions get those, so understand that. It's a little bit switched there. I was messed up graphics. That's what they're saying there. So we get basically an extra pick, and just to move up for a Jameson Williams trade. Before I give you my thoughts, do you think that the Detroit Lions will trade Jameson Williams? Do you think that they'll trade J-Mo? Why for yes and for no? Give me your thoughts in the comments right now. Let me give you my thoughts. It just doesn't add up. Doesn't make a lot of sense. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender right now. We've already invested years into Jameson Williams. Last year, we finally got our return on investment a little bit. This year, you would expect your return on investment would even be better. Back on the same page with Jared Goff from the beginning. Why now would you want to trade a player who's really starting to come into his own, who is a deep threat for the Lions? Right now, that'll help the Lions get to playoffs and potentially to a Super Bowl. And to just get another young wide receiver to come in here to learn again. Because it takes a little bit of time for these receivers. Jameson Williams is ready right now. This is the same thing with the Amik Robertson trade that keeps coming up the past couple of days. It just doesn't add up. When you have the players in place right now, and Jameson Williams is on a cheap deal, Meek's not even that big of a deal, to get rid of these players and hurting your chance in a hardcore division like the NFC North, to give up weapons like that, it just seems like a terrible decision. It does. And I understand that, at least comes to Jameson Williams, a lot of people's like, well, they're probably not going to re-sign him to a long-term deal. What if he comes out and explodes this year and he's good? What if they want to put him to a long-term deal? They probably can make it all work. So it just seems to me it's a little bit off for the Lions to go this route. I would say it's unlikely, but that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, folks, adios.